Am I the a-hole for upgrading to a business class ticket while my wife sits in economy? So I, 25 male, and my wife, 24 female, are going to the United States from Japan for a month for vacation. And when we booked the tickets, we initially thought that we were going to be sitting next to each other. But I had the option to upgrade my seat to business with my miles, and I did. Well, my wife is not too happy about that because she wanted to sit together on the 12-hour flight. But it's overnight, so we're going to be sleeping the whole flight, so I didn't think it mattered. I told her that, and she got upset because she thinks I chose business class over her, and that's rude apparently. I said to her that she's just jealous, in a teasing, joking way, and she got upset and told me to ask the airline to see if I could switch my seat back to economy. I said hell no, because I'm not going to miss my opportunity to sit in business class, which looks amazing by the way. Look up ANA The Room. In my eyes, it's just a 12-hour flight and it doesn't matter if I sit next to my wife or not. If it's really bad though, I still have a week before my flight to maybe get it changed. Am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole. You literally ditched your wife and then mocked her. You were absolutely the a-hole here, and she is completely right to be upset. Right? This was such a douche move. How would you feel, OP, if she did that to you? You obviously value your comfort over your wife, which doesn't bode well for marriage longevity. Good luck. You're gonna need it. Oh, and you're the a-hole. The fact that OP had to ask if he's the a-hole tells me everything I need to know about this guy. I have status with an airline, my fiance doesn't. When we fly together, not only will I only accept seat upgrade bumps if we both get bumped, if it's shorter than 3 hours, I'll sit in the middle seat next to him. I would be extraordinarily upset. I'll go enjoy my flight from this amazing seat. Good luck back there cramped with strangers, lol. I'll let you know how my drinks and full lounging chair are. For a 12-hour cross-continental flight, what an a-hole. You're the a-hole, and you better do some groveling here or be prepared to pay for this down the line, because I guarantee you will. You're the a-hole. Business class comes with more space, better service, and a quieter atmosphere. You're sending a message to your wife that you deserve all of that, but she doesn't. Why didn't you upgrade both seats so you can both have a better experience? And OP responds, mine was free. Hers would cost an extra $2 to $3K. A divorce attorney will cost you more than $3,000. Edit 1. Yeah, I'm the a-hole. I'm buying her the upgrade to sit next to me in business. I offered to switch seats, but she really wanted to sit next to me, I guess. Edit 2. Since so many were asking, they were my miles and I couldn't use them to upgrade her seat. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister it's her fault nobody likes her husband? I'm asking you to please engage in cultural relativity here. You don't have to like our practices. Just temporarily accept them to understand this post. We are from a culture where it's customary that a dowry is paid when a woman is married. This is a customary marriage, CM, and what one must do in order to start a life. The CM serves many purposes. It shows that a man is serious about you. He'll have work to save and declare his commitment to you and your family. It joins your family to his. It's the right way to marry a woman. It honors a woman's parents, family, and community, and it lets the ancestors know you're leaving the home. The CM is one of the core principles of our society. We're a family-oriented people, and that's how families are forged. Now, my sister decided to marry a white man who's not from our culture. He refused to marry her customarily because it was demeaning, barbaric, and backwards. Everyone advised her not to marry a man who viewed her that way, but she stuck with him and had a European marriage ceremony. Our parents weren't supportive, but they did attend the church ceremony. This is already a huge faux pas in our culture. To add insult to injury, her husband is consistently rude and disrespectful to our culture. They live together in our home country. He comes into my parents' home and refers to them by their first names. This is not done with anyone older than you, especially not your in-laws. My parents try to look beyond the absence of a customary marriage and treat him like their son-in-law anyway, but he throws it back in their face each time. The other men who have married into the family have get-togethers and days out. He was invited once, then never again. I recently had a baby, and my parents slaughtered a cow to host a feast, something that wasn't done when my sister had hers. My mom also moved in temporarily to help me as a first-time mom, while she only daily visited my sister. She came crying about preferential treatment, and everyone's mean to them. I have a newborn. I'm tired, and I'm not in the mood. I said it's her fault she's treated the way she is. She chose to abandon her culture to appease a man who thinks she's beneath him. She then never taught him the culturally appropriate way to behave or conduct himself, and he's consistently disrespectful. He has an energy about him that's reminiscent of colonial settlers, and none of us like it. The cow that was slaughtered was the one my husband gave as part of my marriage agreement. Her husband never did that, so there's no cow to kill. She chose to carve her own path and turn her back on our ways. Nobody forced her to stick to our customs, so she can't force us to stick to our end of the deal. She wants the nice parts of her culture without going through the proper channels. She wants to have her cake and eat it. I told her she was in a mess of her own making. She could either rectify it or learn to live with it. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Please don't message me. Anything to say to me can be said here. I'm not engaging with messages. Also, I feel being asked if we've learned his culture is kind of ridiculous, given how we're a former colony of his country, and his culture is dominant, pretty much globally. I can guarantee most people who have been victims of Western imperialism, that is to say basically everyone outside of Europe, have at least a basic understanding of your cultures. Forced assimilation and colonialism meant we had no choice but. The name thing. I know it seems minor to Westerners. You don't call people by their first names here unless they're a child. Anyone older than you don't call by their first name. Your in-laws, you're supposed to call your parents because you and your spouse are one. If, for example, your own parents are mom and dad, you may call your in-laws ma and pa. Not comfortable with that? No problem. Call them Mr. and Mrs. Call them auntie and uncle. Anything that recognizes their position to you. This is about humbling yourself and showing respect to your elders, no matter how old you are. He's not doing things slightly different. He's being openly antagonistic and resistant to his in-laws' customs for no reason other than he thinks they're backwards and barbaric. But the mother is very justified. I don't see my mother moving into the home of a guy who stands at her son's place but calls her by name. It's very disrespectful here. And if the sister wanted the cow, then they should have paid for it. OP's husband paid for it, so OP gets it. I call my in-laws by their first name. They're white. My white husband calls my Asian mother mom, because that's what's respectful. He doesn't have to. If he chose not to, nobody would divorce him, but doing so will result in him having a different relationship with her. You don't get to disregard cultural norms and then expect to be treated the same, as if you weren't being disrespectful. What do you think an engagement ring is? Traditionally, you pay a large amount of money for a piece of jewelry to prove your commitment and give your partner an out if things go tits up, because women often didn't work. Dowry is the same deal. Cultures with a traditional dowry system don't traditionally have engagement rings or similar, though sometimes dowries include jewelry. You pay your wife's family a respectable amount, and now there's a safety cushion. In many cultures, the wife's family also pays the groom's family a respectable amount, and or provides their daughter with a large sum of cash in her name so that she doesn't enter the marriage empty-handed, and it tends to even out, though I'm unsure if this happens in South Asia. They aren't disrespecting his culture. They treat him like a son-in-law because they have accepted his European-style marriage, even though that isn't what they are used to. They continue to welcome him even though he insists on addressing them in their own home in a way he knows they consider rude. It's like OP said, the sister and her husband want the benefits of the culture, like a ritual celebration and a live-in nanny for a week, without earning it by paying her parents the traditional respect. Opie says her mother visited the sister daily to help out when her baby was born. And for all that effort, he can't even be bothered to address them by her preferred name/title. Edit 2. This has been a truly wild ride. Thank you. You made me chuckle. Some of you reported to Reddit that you were concerned for my well-being. Babies. Thank you. Don't worry about me. I'm healthy, happy, and loved. I'm happy and secure with who I am and where I'm from. That won't be changed by people projecting whatever they're dealing with on me. Hope you're taking care of yourself too. Update. Hey, people have asked for updates, so I shall offer for anyone who cares to know. We had a family meeting at my parents' home about 2 weeks after the original thing went down. My sister called it, and she evidently had a bone to pick. She yelled at my mom for reasons she yelled at me for: favoritism, preferential treatment, called her a bad parent, etc. This made my mom cry and my dad apoplectic. She got a massive dressing down from my dad, something she was wholly unaccustomed to since he's never really told her off. youngest child. Got to a point where we had a crying sister, crying mother, and dad on a warpath, so my other siblings and I had to play mediation. I asked her what the root cause of it was. Some of you called it. She was realizing how much she's lost out on by marrying a man who doesn't appreciate her culture. She was worried about the implications of the absence of cultural rituals for her children and herself. Apparently, she's experiencing cold shoulders from some people because of the choices she made. She's very much the social butterfly, so it's a difficult pill to swallow. She went home to ask her partner to reconsider marrying her traditionally. She told him her concerns and how it made her feel, and he dismissed it as voodoo nonsense, saying he thought she was more reasonable than that. She's moved back home with my parents while she decides what's next for her relationship. Before you go on about how disappointed you are that she wanted to be married according to our culture and how women are allegedly taking part in their own oppression by doing so, I don't care. Save yourself the trouble of pouring the colonial feminist narrative that we need to be rescued from our cultures. We're good. Thanks to those who pointed out the blind spot highlighted above. I'm working on supporting her and my nephew through the process. Take care.